Ascent. I'm Molly Carmel, and this is the podcast I always wish existed. A bite sized, on the ground spiritual note that can help shift your thinking and your outlook on life to make us all a little bit more awake, alive, and ascending. So today I want to talk about a sneaky little pattern that I know that I have, and I think so many of us have, especially those of us who like to give and do and manage and make sure everyone's okay. Does this sound like you? It's that feeling of guilt that sometimes pops up when we're not contributing enough, when we're not doing something to earn our keep. And so a few weekends ago, I was with two of my besties. I call them my framily at their ranch. Gorgeous, gorgeous ranch. And I was up there. I took one of my godsons, I took my dog, and we were just having like the most perfect cozy morning one could have. We were making breakfast, drinking coffee, we were planning the day, we were just like mapping out life. And my friends were really taking the lion's share of the day. I had tons of work to do that day. And they were just like, you know what? We'll take this. We'll take this. You just take care of yourself. We got it. And, somewhere in the middle of all that planning and laughter, and honestly, them taking such good care of me, I felt this tiny little ache of guilt. And that thought crept in. I really should be doing more. I'm not contributing enough. And it wasn't even that loud. It was kind of worse than loud. It was like a little endless hum, right? It was like a background noise that many of us know all too well. And so I turned to my friend Amanda and I said, I feel so bad. You're just like doing so much. And I'm just kind of like here, like doing my work. And she looked at me in that really grounded, wise, and almost like a mischievous way and tilted her head at me. And she said, Molly, this isn't about contribution. This is about flow. And then she winked at me and said, also kind of a perfect episode for the Daily Ascent, right? And I was like, actually, yes, this is a perfect episode of Daily Ascent. But it is, right? Because life, love, these things don't keep score. Giving and receiving are supposed to move like water. But my old programming, that part of me that says I need to earn rest, I need to prove my worth, it was interrupting the current. That little glitch that says I have to do something to deserve this ease, it can really block the flow of life that life is trying to offer us, right? It was almost like I was doing a cannonball into this beautiful morning that we were all having. And I was thinking of this pocket sage that I love, Wayne Muller. He's a therapist and a minister, and he talks a lot about remembering that we're already enough. In fact, he writes a book called A Life of Being, Having, and Doing Enough. And here's a quote from it. When we trust the flow of life, enough is no longer a number, but a relationship, a rhythm between giving and receiving. In this rhythm, we discover a deep peace that we are being carried always by something larger than ourselves. Woof. I'll do it for those of you in the back. I'll read it one more time. When we trust the flow of life, enough is no longer a number, but a relationship, a rhythm between giving and receiving. In this rhythm, we discover a deep peace that we are being carried always by something larger than ourselves. And that line, we are being carried, I mean, that's the one that really gut punched me because if I can stop trying to calculate my contribution, I can actually feel that truth. Like I can actually feel the universe carrying me. I don't have to push and I don't have to prove. I can just be in the rhythm, but it requires that I trust, right? It requires that I trust. And so our word of the day today is flow. Thanks, Amanda. Flow is the rhythm of life when we stop fighting it. And it's that current, that soft current that carries us when we let go of the edge. And almost like that feeling of exhaling after you hold your breath for too long. And it's really what the reading is saying. It's the trust that life knows how to move through you, that you don't have to push or earn or hold it all together to be worthy of receiving love. It's kind of just participating without resistance and saying yes to what's here and yes to what's offered and yes to what's already enough. And I don't know about you, but I find it wild how easily I can confuse contribution with worth. And us responsible ones, the helpers, the fixers, the doers, the movers, the shakers, a lot of us do get in that pattern sometimes of thinking that we need to earn every bit of love and every moment of ease. But that's not what flow is. Flow doesn't ask us to earn, flow asks us to trust. When we're in flow, there's no forcing, there's no keeping score, there's just presence and gratitude. And honestly, the ironic piece is that, like, when I let myself receive without guilt, then even my giving becomes more alive and more joyful and more wholehearted because it's coming from an overflow, not an obligation. And honestly, especially during the holidays, that's a great idea to think about because that's really the beauty of flow. So, your reflective question for today: where in your life might you be interrupting the flow? And can you soften enough to let life carry you for a while? What would it feel like to stop measuring your contribution and simply allow yourself to receive? I gave you a 2-for-1 today. And I want you to know I am practicing that too. I'm trying to loosen my grip and stepping out of control and just trusting life's rhythm and trusting that life knows what it's doing. Because when we can stop keeping score and just start trusting a little bit more, it allows love to move more freely, and it really allows everything to start to flow. So until next time, know that I am here rooting you on through the chaos and through the still.